PC fans have come a long way over the years. We now have ones that can daisy chain together. You can also get models that have reverse blades as well, so you always have the nicest side inside your PC. They are relatively expensive and can be a little bit tedious trying to figure out which ones you need with the right airflow pattern. Thankfully, Thermaltake have brought out the SWAFAN EX12s that have all of that combined into one model, so let's check them out. Really nice to see a model that combines the reverse blades and the daisy chain technology, because it can be really expensive, especially if you're going to kit out a full system. Then you have to plan which airflow versions you want as well. It can be really quite annoying. Then, like I said at the start, if you want to change anything in the future, you can have to buy additional fans. So it's nice to see that you have options with these. These also come in a 140mm version, the 12 refers to 120mm, and you can also get an ARGB version which goes off the 5V addressable header on your motherboard. These ones come with a controller, and of course you're going to pay a little bit extra, so if you just want to use the 5V addressable, you can also save some money as well by going with the ARGB version. So let's get these open. As you can see, we have got white and black. I will show both colours in the actual testing, but let's get them open to see what we've got included. By default, we've got the standard blades on. There you can see the pad side, and then on the reverse we've got the push pins for the magnets to go together. A little bit of foam in between. So let's just see how these go together. Just like that, and they're done. Add the other one on as well. Pretty sturdy as well. Of course, if you're going to lay them flat and shake them, they're not going to be as strong, but upright, there's certainly a nice lot of magnetisement there. I also saw a thing on social media that they had two powered up and they just added another one on and it just started to spin, so we'll try that ourselves as well. But let's look at the other parts that are included in the box. So we have the reverse blades. It's nice to see that they are actually labelled reverse on there as well, so you're not going to get them muddled up in the box. Then we've got all of our cables and things in this box. So here are our screws for going through either a case or for a radiator. We've got 3 cables to connect the fans together, which is nice. I was actually wondering how many we were going to get included for certain circumstances. For example, I'm going to have 2 in the front and 1 in the back, so 1 cable obviously wouldn't be enough. So it's nice that we have got 3. So there is 1 for each if you happen to have them spaced oddly. So that's nice that we've got some options. These just terminate to a standard USB 2 connector. And I'm guessing that's what we're going to see on the hub as well. So yeah, we've got up to, well, we've got 5 ports on here. So you can put loads of these on. I'm not sure if there's a specific amount that this will handle, but I'll put it on the screen if I can find it. There's also some other connectors on the back, presumably for power and then also data. Let's have a look in this little packet about what else we've got. The cables, we've got a Molex 2 floppy cable, which looks like they're going to be the powering of the actual hub. We've got a USB 2 to then the micro USB end, which is quite a long cable. It's got 2 on the end of there actually, so maybe you can control more than 1 hub. And then there's also a micro USB to the 4 pin, which is on this side. So maybe if you were to daisy chain 2 together, maybe you can have one that goes out and then into another one. We've got some instructions, and then last but not least, we have some grease included as well. Thermaltake recommend that if you're taking your blades off regularly, either to clean them or you want to change them to reverse, every 3 or 4 changes, for example, just reapply a bit of grease on there just so they're nice and lubricated. I was right with the cable, so if you want to connect 2 more controllers together, you can daisy chain them together with that little cable. Let's have a look at the actual connection of the fans. I just want to see how well these connect together. So I've just got the pin side and then one of the cables. Well, straight away. And what if you turn it upside down? It's going to repel. So yeah, you can only put it one way up, which is good. It tends to align itself, but just make sure those pins are nicely connected. And then some nice braided cable on there as well, so we're not going to see any black cables or anything like that. One little nitpick I had about one of the recent coolers I've used in the build is that the cables are all black and it was a white cooler. So it is nice that Thermaltake put some attention to detail in to make all of the cables white, so there isn't just a little bit that's sticking out that's black. Buy a black set of fans, obviously you will get the black cables, but for the white ones it's nice that they have made every single cable white. So here's the black fan. We've got a little bit of a grey accent for the anti-vibration pads on the sides, but otherwise it is a mostly black fan. So now we've got these unboxed, I'll put these into my test system, see how they perform, and we'll also have a look at the daisy chain connection while they're powered up as well. I've now got all the results for the testing and also tried the software and everything, so I can give you a full conclusion. I've tested with the standard Corsair fans that are in this case. This is my CPU cooler test rig. They're at 1600 RPM, they're just standard Corsair fans. They're on fan speed reducers, so they're always the same speed, no matter what I test, so there's no variables only other than the cooler. Also, those fans are set at 1600 RPM as well, they're Noctuas. So we've got that. There's the little fan speed reducers that I've taken off, and then I've set all the fans that are in the system, the Thermaltake ones, to 1600 RPM in the software, or as near as I could get it. So I'll show you how that all works now. So this is the Thermaltake software landing page. I've got a little hub that's all showing up, and I've got 2 fans. I've just picked the 3 on channel 4, and I've got another single fan on channel 5. You can just select number 1 and then choose from your product down along the bottom. There's everything. You can control every Thermaltake product that connects with the hub on here, so really easy to work. You've got TT Sync on there as well, so you can use it instead of Armoury Crate and all the other pieces of motherboard software, but I'm just going to use it for the fans for this demo. So if we go to my PC, we've got some information about the system. So we've got a processor, then a graphics card, also my storage. But we'll go to fan speed. This is where I set the speeds for the fans when I did my thermal testing. So I went into the advanced options and then clicked normal and then set to 60%. You'll hear that ramp up now. And that was as close as I could get it to a static 1600 RPM. It was about 1540 to 1620. You know, as close as I could get it. I couldn't dial it in any more specific than that. So that's what I ran. I did the same on the rear fan as well. So I got as close as I could to running my Corsair fans on the fan speed reducers. And then the PWM selection is what I think most people will be using. You can pick either silence or performance optimized. Maybe you might drag that slider a little bit more further down to the silent range, but I went for the normal and custom did it just for the testing. So if we go on to the lighting, we'll just save that. So I'll just pick some random ones for you to see, but you'll get a rough idea. You do have to select all and then go on the effect and then apply each time. There isn't any real-time changes or anything either, so you have to be a little bit more patient for it. It's not like the Razer software, for example, it'll do it all in real time. So I'll run through a couple of these just so you can see what they're like. I actually think the best one is the standard wave. I will edit that down because it's going to be quite tedious to watch otherwise, but if you've used any RGB software, you know what you can expect. There's loads of things you can customize and spend hours on it if you'd like to. But that's the default one, I think is my favorite there. So let's talk about temperatures now. So with the Corsair fans that I ran, the stock ones, I saw a high of 78.8, the ambient room was 18.7, so exactly 60 degrees. With the Thermaltake fans, we saw a high of 61.6, that was a delta. So a little bit warmer, but nothing really to write home about. They're still running the system very cool. They do push a lot of air as well, 54 CFM. So other things to talk about, the frames of the fans themselves, if you want to actually swap them out, just push on the hub, that'll pop out and you can swap them over. Really easy to do. It'll take literally seconds to do all of them. Make sure you do keep them greased up though if you do swap them regularly. If you're washing them, whatever, make sure you dry them well. Make sure they're fully dry before you put them back on, but a little bit of grease every now and again, just keep them lubed up will be good. The actual connection of the fans, like I showed you before, is very easy, but the connector for the actual power and data can be a little bit finicky, so let's get the right side to start off. But that's one time that's actually worked straight away, but there you go, you see it's a bit intermittent. It does need the positioning of the pins to be very, very precise. Down on the front you can just see the wire that connects the front ones, but those were one that I actually needed to play around a little bit with to connect fully. And then also on the back as well, when I was doing some cable management, the one on the back popped off, so it was a little bit tricky to get my fingers in and actually connect it back up. I think it needs a couple of like male female pins, so it can't do any sideways wiggling, because that can make all the difference in the fan, and it just can cut out. So yeah, just a couple of bits of feedback, and hopefully in a new version we can see a stronger, either a stronger connector or just a couple of pins to make sure it locks in place. Last things to talk about, pricing and comparisons. For example, the Thermaltakes are going to be $89.99, certainly not cheap, but the 5-volt addressable versions are £15 less if you're not worried about the controller, so you are paying for that in that box. So you can save yourself some money there. But like I said, you've got the reverse blades included and they daisy chain, whereas the original OG daisy chainer ones were of course the Lee and the Uni fans. One direction of blade, and then if you want to go for a reverse option, Phanteks do the D30s in a reverse flow, but you don't get options, it's just one way. So if you compare those, £80 a box, and then you've got these that are $89.99, $74.99 if you get the ARGB 5-volt addressable versions. You get a lot more included, and you can just change the frames if you swap your system around in the future, unlike needing to splash out on whole new boxes of fans just to change the airflow. So it does give you value for money, but they are at a more premium price. If you think about it long term, then it does make sense. So I think that's everything I want to talk to you about in this video. Any more questions, do leave them in the comments. I apologise for all the waffling, but I want to give you all the information that I can in this one video. Yeah, like I said, any more questions, let me know. Links will be in the description box if you want to pick any of these up. Big thanks to Thermaltake for sending them out for me to look at. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.